What's up, guys? Today I want to talk about a topic that I've struggled with probably for the most of my life. And I think a lot of guys struggle with this too, even though we don't necessarily identify it as something that we struggle with. If you really think about this, I think you'll identify. And that is my ability to trust myself, to trust my decisions, to trust my gut, to trust my intuition, to trust that I'm going to do the right thing, to trust that, I'm not going to, give up on something. And if I don't trust myself and learn to trust myself, then I'm always going to have this very tumultuous relationship with myself, because all relationships are actually based on trust, right? The foundation is trust. I mean, think about if you're in a relationship with a friend or girlfriend or spouse, partner, whatever, and you don't trust them. What kind of relationship do you have with them? Not a very good one. And all relationships then are built on this foundation of trust. I need to know that I can trust you, that you have my back. And as long as I trust you, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to have connection. I'm going to have safety. I'm going to feel important. I'm going to get my emotional needs met because I know that there's this thing that is unwavering. I know my wife has my back, which is why I trust her, and that hasn't always been the case in my life. In previous relationships, I haven't trusted those, but a lot of it came down to the fact that I really didn't trust myself. And if I didn't trust myself, then I didn't really have a very good relationship with myself. And when I don't have a good relationship with myself, then that's where all of the negative self-talk, all of the shame and the guilt and the pressure that we put on ourselves, that starts to overtake how we think and feel about ourselves. Now, I think one of the reasons why this was so difficult for me in learning to trust myself was because I also didn't love myself. And in order to trust something or someone, you have to, I think, have a certain amount of love and esteem and respect for that thing. And so if my foundation of trust with myself isn't there, then I'm not going to respect myself. I'm not going to esteem myself. I'm not going to take care of myself necessarily. I'm not going to cherish myself, right? And take care of myself as something that's really important and valuable. The thing is that we know other people by their actions, and we know ourselves by our thoughts and our actions. So when you look at somebody else, all you're seeing is their actions, what they want you to see or what they're allowing you to see. And it's very, very limited. We can't see what's going on inside of their head. And because people are pretty good at putting up a front, and because my perception oftentimes is a bit skewed, I'll see somebody else and I'll think, oh my gosh, they got it all together, right? They have everything they need. Why would they want anything else? And then maybe later you find out that, they're depressed or anxious or suicidal or something. And you think to yourself, how could that possibly be? How could this person have anything but just the utmost enjoyment in life? They have everything. And that's because we see what they want us to see. We see the behavior, we see the outside, and we judge ourselves based on, I know what I'm capable of. I know what I do when nobody's around. When we're with another person, we don't see what they do when nobody's around. We just see what they do when they're in front of us. And that's why learning to trust yourself comes from a place of really learning to understand that everyone deals with this issue and you're not alone, and it's not something that makes you weird. It's very, very human. So how do you learn to trust yourself? I think that trusting yourself is maybe a bit of a process. Now, I trust myself implicitly. That doesn't mean that I'm always going to do the right thing. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to eat the piece of chocolate cake. It doesn't mean that, I'm not going to go for seconds. What it means is that I know at the end of the day, I want to do what's right. In my heart of hearts, if I can strip away all the ego and everything else, I know that I want to love, I want to be compassionate, I want to be a man of integrity. And that knowledge then of this is what I want to do also allows me to trust myself. When I don't do the thing that I want to do, or I do the thing that I don't want to do, then rather than that breaking trust with myself, I have compassion and empathy and patience for myself, knowing that just like every relationship out there, it's growing, it's being tested. We have to walk through the fire in order to become, it's the steel. And so, and I was thinking about this morning. Maybe it comes with age and experience, but the more I live, the more I learn to trust and love myself. And I think that's where trust ultimately comes from, is your ability to love yourself, to have compassion for yourself, to have patience with yourself, to have kindness towards yourself. The more I love myself, the more I trust myself. That's been my experience. The more that I love myself, it gives me the ability to trust others as well, to see them as human, to be patient with others, to be kind with others, to be generous with others. And again, sometimes my ego gets in the way and I lose patience and I get frustrated and I get upset. Just last night, I kind of snapped at my wife because I was upset. Didn't do it perfectly, but I also trusted myself. I went back in and I apologized and we made a repair and everything was fine. The point is that I love myself enough to do the next right thing. Loving yourself is oftentimes an act. It's it's about showing up and doing the thing that you want to do. So many guys, and I was thinking about this, so many of us, myself included, we get into what I call kind of the monk mode of like, okay, I've got to contemplate. I've got to meditate. I've got to read all of these books. I've got to listen to these podcasts. And we just start filling ourselves with information. And one of the reasons we do that is because we don't actually trust ourselves. We don't trust that we have enough or that we are enough. But I'm telling you that you already have everything that you need in order to become the man you're supposed to become. It's a matter of learning to listen to that, learning to trust that, and learning to act on that. Every time I listen to myself and I do the thing that I know I need to do, I feel better about myself. Confidence comes with repetitions. Just like I talked about yesterday on courage, is that repetition. You have to lean into that tension. And every time you lean into the tension, you get stronger emotionally. So if I want to trust myself, I have to give myself grace when I screw up and celebrate those times when I'm successful. When you feel a sense of tension come up inside of you, and oftentimes this tension can feel like anxiety. It can feel like this thing of like, okay, I don't want to do this. There's this resistance. So, one example would be, I need to go to the gym. I need to work out. And there's this resistance inside of me that doesn't want to do that. And when I listen to that resistance, I start to mistrust myself because I'm not doing the thing that I know that I need to do. Instead, if I can move through that resistance, just like with courage, I feel the tension and I move through that tension, then I grow. And if you're not feeling tension, then you're not growing because growth happens in tension. And oftentimes we guys, we like things that are, we don't like the tension. We want comfort. We will trade comfort for tension any day of the week. Am I right? Come on. You know it's true. I to this day, if I have the choice between, kicking off and relaxing and, hanging out in front of the TV or something, or going to, say work on my yard, those, like, no contest. But if there's a higher purpose and a higher calling behind it, then I can oftentimes lean into that tension, move past it, and do the thing that I need to do. And so the way that I trust myself is through these repetitions of doing the right thing, or doing the next right thing. And by right, I don't mean, in the sense of good and bad, but I mean in right in terms of the thing that's going to give me the most benefit. What is going to help me move forward in my life just a little bit more? And the more I practice that, what I'm doing is I'm practicing the self-love, which then gives me the trust. And when you take self-love and self-trust and you put those two things together, you have power. You have like an incredible power within you. So love, trust equals power. And if you want power in your life, if you love yourself and if you trust yourself, then you will act powerfully in all the things that you do. But why don't we just do that? Because we have this thing called ego, and the ego wants what the ego wants, and it wants it now. The ego wants gratification. It wants instant coffee. No, it doesn't want instant coffee. God, that's gross. Instant, instant everything. But the ego wants what it wants right now as it wants it. I've struggled with this so long in my life. I have always given over to comfort, and I'll rationalize it, and I will procrastinate, and I will, do the thing that I don't want to do instead of doing the thing that I want to do. And in the past, that's broken a lot of trust with myself, which, and then, I don't have love for myself. And so if I don't have love for myself and trust for myself, guess what I'm not going to have? I'm not going to have any power. I'm not going to have any power, dominion over myself. I'm not going to have any power over how I react to situations. I'm not going to have any power over how over my emotional well-being. So if I really, really want to have power over myself so that I can have influence over others, what that's going to take is this combination of self-love and self-trust. You trust yourself by listening to your gut. It's that still small voice inside of you that says, this is what you need to do. Now, most of us have worked so hard on resisting that voice that we have a hard time listening to it. We have a hard time getting quiet and saying, okay, what is it that I need to do in this particular situation? I love myself so much that I am willing to listen to myself. I love myself so much I'm willing to listen to myself and trust that myself has the right answer. And when I live in this space of love, trust, and power, I'm unstoppable. And you are too. My encouragement for you today is this, is that you love yourself, you trust yourself, and then the byproduct of those two things is you will have empowerment and dominion over yourself. It's important, again, to understand that the way that we love ourselves is by connecting with the infinite source of love. The infinite source of love is out there. There's no scientific reason for love. Love is spiritual. And if you're not connecting on a spiritual level with your love of yourself so that you can trust yourself, so that you have power, then you are going to feel depressed, anxious, weak, scared. You're going to run away from things. You're not going to trust yourself. You're always going to be questioning yourself. Every time you have a decision, you're going to try to get, 100 people to tell you that you're doing the right thing, rather than just knowing, I know what I'm doing, and I'm going to trust myself, and I'm going to do the thing that I know to do. I get caught up sometimes in marketing messages of people, they're trying to sell me something. And oftentimes it's like the marketing message is, hey, you're missing something. There's something that you're missing. And if you just have this one piece, you're going to feel completely, fulfilled and connected. And, it takes me down this sort of rabbit trail of like, okay, what is it what is the one piece? What is the thing that I'm missing? And then it's ultimately, it's like, okay, you got to buy this program. You buy this program, and then that's going to make you, that's going to, turn the key and unlock everything for you. And the more I live, the more I learn, it's like, I already have the answers within me. I just have to listen. I just have to trust that I already have it within me. So trust yourself, man. Trust yourself in that you have what it takes. Trust yourself in that you already have everything you need to make the decision. You just have to love yourself enough to trust yourself to make the decision so that you can have power in your life. If you found this message helpful, please like, subscribe, comment. Really, I want to connect with you guys. I want to know what's going on in your life. So also share this video with people if you think it will be helpful for someone that you know. This is how this channel is going to grow, and I depend on you guys to help me get these messages out there. You are my allies. All right, much love to you, and I will see you next time.